Hello my friends all over the world. Today I'm going to make a special juice, and one of the ingredients is going to be Gobo root, or otherwise known as Burdock root. I bought these at an Asian market, and I'm going to put about 2/3 of one of these roots in a juice with some carrots and the rest of my ingredients. Let's take a look at the rest of my ingredients. For this juice, in addition to the Gobo root, I have carrots, 1 medium-sized beet, 1/2 cucumber, some ginger, 100 grams of turmeric, and 1 bunch of parsley. So let's make some juice. Now I'm using the near zero blowback cutter and the front loading feed tube, and the first thing I'm going to do as usual is plug in my thermometer and start with 3 ice cubes to cool down the cutter and the feed tube. Now I'm going to start with my parsley. The near zero blowback cutter is doing an excellent job on these greens. Parsley is usually very difficult to shred. Next we'll do a cucumber. Do the turmeric next. Next some ginger. Next, before I do my carrots, I'm going to feed in my Gobo root, otherwise known as Burdock root. Steady pace, there's no need to rush. Now because I've done all my greens, what I'm going to do next is clean my grid and then continue with carrots. So this is mostly parsley, beets, turmeric, ginger, and carrots with the Gobo root. More carrots. Usually you put in the big end in first. Steady pace, rotate your bowl. A few more ice cubes, we're up to 27 already. Go as high as 35 if you want. I like to keep it below 23. And I'm down to my last 2 carrots. I want to remind you that when you're in your last carrots or your last produce, there's always a plug of something in here, usually a carrot if you're doing carrots. So what you want to do is put some pulp in here to force that last plug through so that everything gets shred. And the next step is to clean the grid, the cutter, and the feed tube. Mix your produce and make some juice. The next step, as usual, is to mix your produce with the carrot pulp. Get a really good mix. I'm going to demonstrate my less work 6-cloth method. We start by putting 3 scoops of pulp in the cloth. Fold it in thirds, as tight a package as you can get it. The tighter the better. I'm going to fold that and set it aside because I want to do 2 cloths full of pulp at once. Not 1, not 3, but 2. And that way you get best pressure. So the first thing we'll do is put 2 cloths full in the press. Centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust it if you need to, like I'm doing here. All the way back, back it off a little bit, turn on your machine, and we'll continue preparing more cloths full of pulp. Now when you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way. This is going to save you time. Flatten that. And here's my less work 6-cloth method. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top, and a new set of 2 cloths go inside, centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust it if necessary, all the way back it off a little bit. Now, the less work 6-cloth method, you don't throw away your pulp. You put new pulp on top of the old pulp. 2 scoops, not 3. Now, if you had a puddle of juice in your collection bowl, you would put your spent pulp in the puddle to absorb more juice. We'll do that on the next cloth. Upside down, flatten it. If there's a puddle of juice in the bowl, you will take out the spent dried pulp, put it in the puddle of juice. That'll absorb all that juice that's puddling in the bottom, and then continue. And again, advance it all the way when you're on your last cloth. On your last cloth, advance it all the way. Keep your eye in the bowl. 2 scoops. And again, a nice tight package. Now, because my bowl is full, I'm going to put this into bottles. But so that this does not drip on my countertop, I'm going to set that back, but not a little bit, all the way, so it's very, very obvious. This will go forward, that will go over, and we'll continue after we put this into bottles. I'm filling this from the back side so the camera can get a good view. And notice I'm leaving about 10% that I'm going to top off with filtered or distilled water. I use distilled water because I have a water distiller. Carrot juice especially has too much sugar in it, so you want to add a little bit of water to your juice. So there we go, let's make some more juice. Pull this forward and continue with my less work 6-cloth method. 2 filled cloths into the press, centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust that if necessary. Centering it is very important, so all the way back it off a little bit, turn on your machine, and continue preparing more cloths for pressing. 2 scoops. And a little bit later, maybe only 1 scoop. You don't want this patty to be too thick. On your last cloth, advance that all the way. Now I notice my patties are getting very thick, so what I'm going to do is put 1 heaping spoon, 1 heaping ladle of pulp. That way our patty won't be too thick. This goes forward. This goes over, the spent cloths go on top. And again, from now on we're putting only 1 ladleful of pulp in each cloth. Centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back it off a little bit, and continue. And as I said, toward the end we're only going to put 1 scoop, 1 heaping scoop of pulp. Our bowl is full again. So what I'm going to do is put the spent pulp here, set this back not a little, but a lot. So I want that to be obvious, and we'll put in juice into more bottles. And let's make some more juice. Like that. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. 2 more cloths in the press. Make sure it's on the tray properly. Centered front to back, centered left to right, all the way back it up. Now what I'm going to do with this spent pulp is I'm going to form it into a nice tight package and press it again. And I'm going to fold it 2 or 3 times underneath for a nice tight package. I want to minimize slippage. We'll do that in both directions. Alright, as you can see, I've repackaged the spent pulp into 3 double packets, and I'm going to set this aside and use a measuring beaker to measure how much extra juice can we get by repackaging and reprocessing the spent pulp. So I'll make that as flat as possible. Put that in the tray, centered left to right, centered front to back, right in the center. That's very, very important. So all the way back, and I'm going to back it off as soon as I get juice flow. We do not want this to go up too fast. There we go. We'll back it off a little bit. Tight fit, we'll manage. And again, centered left to right. Notice how easy it is to adjust it when you can get in from both sides. Centered front to back, all the way back. As soon as I get juice flow, I will again back it off because I don't want that to go up too fast. We'll back it off a little bit. The important thing is to go up slowly enough until you get traction, and when you get traction between your 2 claws, advance it all the way. There we have 17 ounces of juice. I think we can get 18 ounces if we press it a little longer, but I want to make this video a little shorter. So I'm going to set this back so it doesn't drip on my countertop. Pour this in here and fill more bottles of juice. I want to point one thing out, and that is that your best nutrients and your most healing nutrients are in your last 10% of your press. So the fact that the Whole Health Foundation Premium Juicer with this solid bottom plate can make over 10% more juice is a big plus, especially if you're healing or want a rejuvenation juice. Alright, we got 13 more bottles that I'm going to top off with distilled water, plus enough for a taste test. So now I'm going to fill this up with distilled water and top off all of these juices and cap them off. Alright, I'm topping this off with distilled water, and I want to point out, when you're topping these off for storage, like I'm doing, these will last me 5, maybe up to 10 days. Alright my friends, as you can see, I got 5, 10, 13 bottles of juice, 16 ounce bottles. One of these was from repackaging and pressing the spent pulp, and enough for a taste test. So let's do a taste test. Here's what I'm calling an anti-inflammatory juice with mostly carrots and Gobo root, otherwise known as Burdock root, with some turmeric, ginger, a little bit of garlic, 1 beet, and a head of parsley. Let's give it a taste. Mostly what I taste is carrot juice, a little bit of parsley, and the other ingredients are hardly noticeable. I hope you like what you've seen, my friends, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net. and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. See you in the next video.